2, 1.
Alright guys, welcome back. Just want to do a video here for those who are interested in the Raspberry Pi. Went out and bought the hardware, got all your peripherals set up, and didn't know how to set up the software side of it. So today I just kind of wanted to focus on how to configure your SD card with the proper OS to get your Raspberry Pi up and running. Everything about the Raspberry Pi is free to download. You can get the OS for your SD card at raspberrypi.org. There are other places that you can get it as well, but this is the easiest place. So first off, go to raspberrypi.org and then hit the downloads page. Alright, within the downloads page, I would recommend just going straight for Raspbian. You see here they have something called Noobs and Noobs Lite. We're just going to talk about Noobs right now. Noobs is basically a utility that has several OSs installed on it. So what will happen with Noobs is if you choose to use it, you'll download it, push the image to your SD card, and then the first time that you load it, it's going to give you an option of what operating system you want to use. Now, if you're a first timer and don't really know what you want to use a Raspberry Pi for, Raspbian is a good desktop to get you started. Besides, you can always overwrite this SD card as many times as you want if you decide you discover something else and want to go a different way. So, the idea here, of course, I prefer the zip files to the torrents, is to download the zip file and get that started. Now, I'm not going to re-download this because I already have it downloaded, but I'm going to show you how to push the image to this SD card. So I'm actually going to overwrite what's already here. So I'm going to cancel this because I've already got Raspbian downloaded. Now there's a second piece of software that you need here, and it's called Win32 Disk Imager. Now really any disk imager can do this, but this is what I use. It works. So this is what I'm going to show you. I found this on soundforge.net. It's just Win32 Disk Imager, and you're going to download this as well. Alright, what this piece of software will do is it will allow you to send the Raspbian image file to your SanDisk or your SD card. So you'll download this, and again this too I also have downloaded, so when it prompts me I'm just going to cancel it, and then we'll continue with how to actually get everything started. Alright, so you should have the disk imager downloaded and Raspbian also downloaded before proceeding with this step. Okay, so I'm going to assume that you have that. Now I've got the disk imager saved to my desktop, so I'm going to go ahead and open that. And we've got a real simplified graphical user interface here. Alright, so you can see here now I've got the SD card inserted into the computer, and I actually already had a version of RasPBX installed on this. This was another Raspberry Pi operating system, but I'm going to replace that with Raspbian. So you don't have to delete the old stuff. When you push an image to your SD card, it's going to overwrite everything. Okay, so what we need to do is now look for the image. So you notice in the Win32 Disk Imager, it attempts to find your SD card by itself, but it's always good just to verify under my computer that your removable disk M: is actually correct. So here it does match, so I'm comfortable, because once you initiate this write operation, it's going to erase everything that you had on that card. So now let's browse for the Raspbian image file, and again you downloaded a zip or compressed file. Make sure that you extract it before trying to write it. So I've clicked the browse button, and it goes to where I have a bunch of different Raspberry Pi OSs. I have Noobs, I have RasPBX, and Raspbian right here. Okay, now these have been extracted. Once I extract the files from the compressed folder, I delete the compressed folder to save space on the drive. So again, remember, you have to right click on a zip file and extract all to get the files out that you need. Alright, so I'm going to click on Raspbian Wheezy. That's the image that we're going to push. and you notice in here it says disk image file. Alright, this is what we're going to select, and notice now that it's going over here to the Win32 disk imager. Okay, now there's two functions that you can do. For this video, we're always going to write. This Win32 disk imager can write an image, or it can read and create an image. Alright, we want to write an image to M, so again, this is the image file, this is the target, and we're going to click write. Now this process is going to take a while, so I'm going to stop the video and then we're going to come back once it gets to 100%, and I'll show you how to do the actual installation side of it. Alright, upon completion of the disk image, you should see this write successful message box pop up, meaning that of course the image has now been written to the SD card. So I'm just going to hit OK. We're going to go and exit that. I will recover my SD card from my computer, and we now have a image on the SD card that's ready to basically plug and play. So once that's complete, you'll simply just insert the SD card, and of course this is a older version Raspberry Pi, because the other version Pi has the smaller SD card that it accepts, and then I think the Pi 2 keeps with that trend. So this is a older version, still takes the full size one. I do have the other version as well, but that's what we're using. The process is the same for whichever Pi you have. So insert it and make sure that you have all your peripherals hooked up: monitor, keyboard, mouse, etc., anything you're going to use before you power up, especially the Ethernet cord. So make sure that applying power to the USB port is the last thing that you do, because your Pi will immediately start to boot as soon as it receives power. So I'm going to go ahead and plug this in, and then we'll show you the video on how to do some of the initial configurations. Alright, so a couple things when you boot up your Raspberry Pi for the first time is you should know the user, the password, and also how to start up the GUI so that you can start playing around with the desktop. Alright, so first off, the initial user is going to be Pi, P-I, and then the password, now you won't see it type of course, but the password is going to be Raspberry. So I'm going to put that in, and you notice it still starts you up to a command prompt. So to actually access the GUI and start playing around with some of the applications that come pre-installed with Raspbian, you simply type start and then X and then hit enter. Alright, for those who just needed to get up and going, that's where I'm going to stop for today. You know, you just kind of have to get in the desktop and play around. I'm just showing to this point because I don't actually have my Raspberry Pi hooked up directly to a monitor. I do have it set up via SSH, but still the access is the same as if you're sitting right in front of it. So again, default user is Pi, the password is Raspberry, and then to start the GUI, simply type start X, and then hit enter. Alright, again guys, if you're just getting set up, I hope this video was helpful. If you like the video, like, share, subscribe, and we'll talk to you soon.